Marcus, a Texas engineer, had always believed in solving problems with logic. Installing solar panels on his home wasn't just about saving money, it was about independence. The panels gleamed on his roof like a quiet badge of pride, harnessing the hot Texas sun to power his life. For weeks, everything seemed perfect, until his numbers stopped adding up. Marcus was meticulous. Every kilowatt was tracked, every bill double-checked. Yet, somehow, his consumption was higher than expected. At first, he blamed the heat, then his air conditioning, but the math simply didn't make sense. Something, or someone, was draining his energy. One restless night, curiosity gnawed at him. He logged into his security cameras, scanning through hours of footage. Then he froze. There, under the faint glow of a streetlight, stood his neighbor, an HOA board member notorious for her entitled behavior. Karen. Dressed casually, she wheeled her sleek Tesla to the side of his house and, without hesitation, plugged into his outlet. Marcus leaned closer to the screen, disbelief hardening into anger. This wasn't a one-time mistake. The time stamps revealed she'd been doing this for nights, weeks even. Every charge, every stolen watt, had been siphoned off his solar grid. He didn't storm outside. He didn't shout. Instead, he sat back, staring at the screen, realizing this wasn't about electricity. It was about arrogance, about someone who believed his hard work was hers to exploit. That night, Marcus made a decision. He wouldn't just stop her. He'd let her dig her own hole, one charge at a time, until the entire neighborhood saw the truth. The silent drain had become the beginning of a storm. The next morning, Marcus played it cool. On the surface, nothing had changed. He brewed his coffee, answered emails, and waved politely to neighbors passing by. But inside, a quiet fire burned. He knew Karen's secret, and instead of confronting her, he decided to play the long game. That night, he set his cameras to record in high definition, adjusting angles to catch every detail. The Tesla rolling in, the cord slipping into his outlet, and her quick glance around before sneaking back to her house. It was almost theatrical. Karen moved with the confidence of someone who thought she was untouchable, like the rules of the HOA didn't apply to her. Marcus saved every clip, labeling them by date and time. Evidence. He didn't just want to stop her, he wanted her exposed. Each video painted the same picture, entitlement on repeat. But Marcus wasn't done. Using his engineering know-how, he designed a small modification to his grid. Nothing dangerous, yet, just enough to monitor exactly how much she was stealing, down to the last watt. Days turned into a quiet chess match. Karen, smug and oblivious, continued her nightly theft, while Marcus collected data like a patient hunter. The numbers piled up, hundreds of dollars worth of energy siphoned. Neighbors began to notice Marcus outside more often, checking wires, testing panels. He smiled, acting as if nothing was wrong, even when Karen waved sweetly from across the street. The irony almost made him laugh. This wasn't just about stolen electricity anymore. It was about pride, respect, and the principle of boundaries. And Marcus was determined to win. The question wasn't if she would be caught, it was how explosive the reveal would be. Marcus had everything he needed: video proof, usage logs, and a plan clever enough to make even Karen sweat. But instead of going to the HOA or police immediately, he decided on something better: poetic justice. Late one evening, he stood by his solar grid, tools in hand, carefully modifying the outlet. It wasn't sabotage, it was science. He adjusted the voltage flow so that when Karen plugged in her Tesla again, the system would overload just enough to trip alarms and lights. Nothing dangerous, but definitely humiliating. That night, he sat by the window with a quiet smirk. Right on schedule, Karen appeared. She scanned the street like a thief, then confidently plugged in her Tesla. For a few minutes, everything looked normal. Then, beep, 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 the car's alarm blared, house lights flickered, and the entire street lit up like a stage. Karen froze, panic etched across her face as neighbors peeked from windows. She fumbled with the charger, yanking it out as the alarm screamed. The scene was too perfect. Marcus had it all captured in crystal clear 4K. The next morning, whispers spread across the neighborhood. Did you hear about Karen's Tesla? Something about it tripping alarms at night. Karen, red-faced and restless, tried to brush it off, but Marcus knew the walls were closing in. She had no idea the footage was already circulating in private group chats, and that Marcus was only warming up. The trap had been sprung. What came next would turn Karen's sneaky theft into a neighborhood spectacle, and there would be no hiding from it. The monthly HOA meeting was usually dull. Budget talks, landscaping complaints, and reminders about trash cans. But this time, the room buzzed with energy. Everyone had heard rumors about Karen's Tesla incident, and they were waiting to see what Marcus would reveal. Karen sat near the front, arms folded tightly, her lips pressed into a thin line. She looked restless but defiant, as if daring anyone to bring it up. Marcus, calm and composed, waited until the agenda reached neighborhood disputes. Then, he stood. Before we move on, he said evenly, I think the community should see something. He connected his laptop to the projector. Gasps rippled through the crowd as footage played. Karen sneaking into Marcus's driveway, plugging in her Tesla, then panicking when the alarms blared. The room erupted in murmurs, some people stifling laughter, others shaking their heads in disbelief. Karen shot up, her face crimson. This is ridiculous. That's taken out of context, she snapped. Marcus tilted his head. Out of context. Because I have weeks of footage. Would you like me to play all of it? The board members exchanged uneasy looks. One finally spoke. Karen, this is a serious violation of property rights. You've been stealing power. Karen's voice cracked as she tried to recover. I was just testing his outlet. It wasn't what it looks like. But the neighbors weren't buying it. Laughter and whispers filled the room, her reputation unraveling in real time. For once, the HOA board wasn't shielding her. They were siding with Marcus. Karen sank back into her chair, shaking with rage and humiliation. Marcus didn't gloat. He simply folded his arms, letting the truth speak for itself. The queen of the HOA had just been dethroned. After the HOA meeting, Karen's downfall spread through the neighborhood like wildfire. No longer the untouchable queen of the cul-de-sac, she became the subject of group chat jokes, whispered gossip, and side eyes at the mailbox. But Marcus wasn't done yet. He wanted one last lesson, delivered with precision. A week later, he set up his system again, tweaking the voltage just enough to trip the breaker the next time she tried. Though embarrassed, Karen was stubborn. One evening, thinking the heat had died down, she crept out again. Marcus, watching from his porch with a cup of coffee, couldn't believe her nerve. The moment her Tesla connected, the system let out a loud pop. The charger sparked harmlessly, the house lights around her blinked, and her Tesla blared its horn like a wounded animal. The entire street turned their heads. Curtains drew back. Phones came out. Karen panicked, yanking the cord, stumbling, nearly falling. Her once proud swagger was replaced with frantic shame. And this time, Marcus walked out slowly, phone in hand. Recording everything. Still just testing my outlet, he called out. Laughter erupted from neighbors. Karen's face crumpled. She rushed to her car, speeding away into the night. By the next morning, the HOA board announced her removal from her position. Her behavior had officially crossed the line. Marcus didn't post the final video publicly. He didn't need to. The neighborhood had already seen enough. His calm smile said it all. Some lessons don't need yelling, just a little voltage. And Karen? She never dared step onto his property again.